We're parents, teachers, and educators, and like you, we're passionate about restoring our culture for Christ. This is Veritas Vox, the voice of classical Christian education.
Hello again. You've joined us for another episode of Veritas Vox, the voice of classical Christian education. Today we have with us one of the students in our online school, Veritas Scholars Academy, and I will describe why she's here in just a moment. But first, let me welcome Emlianna King. Did I say the name right?
Emlianna, but
Emlianna, I'm still struggling with it. Good. Emlianna, if I say it wrong again, don't be at all bashful in correcting me. Emlianna, tell us how long you have been associated with Veritas.
So I've been at Veritas essentially my whole life. I started the curriculum.
You started when you were 0?
I started the curriculum in first grade.
Okay.
I went to online classes in third grade, and now I'm a full-time diploma student.
Okay. And what year are you in school?
I'm in 11th grade.
You're 11th grade. And I know you live in St. Augustine, Florida. Tell us about your family.
So my mother actually is a Veritas teacher. She teaches composition and fiction writing over the summer. So she's wonderful. And my father is retired, but he's also around. And I do not have any siblings. Actually, I'm an only child. So that pretty much is the extent of my family. However, I have a lovely dog that I like to consider family.
That's great. Now, St. Augustine, many people that might be listening to this don't know much about it. I happen to have been there as a tourist and stayed there. In fact, I was there earlier this week, or near there. But St. Augustine is a really cool place for people to visit. What are some of your favorite things about the historic area?
Oh, wow. Honestly, so much. I first and foremost love its location to the beach. The ocean is really close, so that's always nice. And it is the oldest town in America. And it has a
Most
lot of
people
Spanish.
don't know that. To think that the oldest town in America is in Florida and not in New England,
Yeah.
or in Virginia, Jamestown, is something that surprises people.
Yeah, and it was settled by the Spanish, so we still have a lot of Spanish influence here, and I think that culture is really fun.
Yeah, it's a neat town, and if those listening haven't visited, I would put it on the list of places to visit. It is really fun. Well, I'm having you as my guest here today because there's something very timely going on at the online school at Veritas Scholars Academy. And it's the idea of 15,000 in 15 days. Tell us what that is.
So the 15K in 15 days is a campaign. It's a partnership between VSA TAD, which is the Veritas Scholars Academy Teacher Appreciation Day project, with Paideia, the Scholarship Foundation. And essentially what it's about is raising $15,000 in 15 days. And that money goes to families who really want to attend Veritas, but currently are financially unable. So that could be, one Veritas student, 2 Veritas students. But last year, we actually helped dozens of families be able to come to Veritas with that money. So we're trying to do that again this year.
Very good. How much was raised last year?
Last year, the exact donation count was 24,824, I believe.
Wow. So I guess you'd have to say 15,000 is a starting point, and you're hoping for a whole lot more if you almost had $25,000 last year.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's phenomenal to see you as part of the group of students taking this on and showing your care for those that have financial needs but really want to be part of the school and part of the Veritas community. Why would you say this has become such a significant thing? Why do you do it?
Um, I think for me, my mother being a teacher has always stressed the importance of education. Currently, she's actually receiving her PhD online from Liberty University and is focusing on the state of education, I guess, currently in our society. And I think for me, I realize how important Veritas teachers have been in my life and everything that the school has given me, and really learning from a biblical worldview, how that has helped shape my life and help grow me as a person. And I think whenever I look at other people and I see people that don't have that opportunity, it kind of saddens me because I think everybody should have some exposure to that and be able to understand things from a Christ-like perspective. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that Veritas does, and I think that's important.
Yeah. It's always been a challenge for Laurie, my wife, and me, uh, to think about how we can be helpful and have make this education available to people who can't afford it. Today we see, there are a lot of people that really would like to, but are financially unable. They're already paying property taxes and other taxes that go to paying for education once, and then to pay for it again in a private education, to pay for education twice, can be real burdensome to people. And this kind of an effort is a little something to go a long way in helping some people. What's interesting to me is to see now state organizations, this is true of Florida, where you live, that have passed laws that help people financially. And they're doing it because it's cheaper for them to provide money to families to homeschool or to go to a private school than it is to educate them in a public school. So it's a savings for the state, and it does make funds available for some people in some states. But as we speak, that's only in about 12 states right now. And we expect to see more of them, but these kinds of funds are available for people who don't live in a state like that, and or don't, for some other reason, have availability for that. Do you have any specific stories of how people have been blessed? Do you have any notes that you've seen or conversations that you've been a part of where you've been able to say, this is a very specific example of the blessing that these gifts have provided?
Um, as far as last year, I don't know of a specific family that has come to Veritas personally, but I know I've talked with a lot of people that have joined the school in the past few years, especially over like the COVID period, whenever everybody was going online. And I know that there have been a lot of my friends that have come in the past few years that have really taught me about the differences between, Veritas and what they went through in the public school system. Because I've been at Veritas my whole life, I've never experienced anything else. But hearing stories like, we'll be walking in the halls and there's a fight going on in school, right? And like that's normal. And then you come to Veritas and you don't have any animosity, you don't have anything like that. You just have community and everybody wants to help each other and be with each other. And
We certainly don't have fights in the halls.
right? I mean, you kind of eliminate that problem. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I love hearing stories of the blessing of being part of Christian community as a part of being part of the online school. I'm going to go a little different direction here for just a moment because you kind of touched on it. But tell us about how you see community being built at Veritas in spite of the fact that the school is online and you actually attend from your home.
yeah, so I think a great example is that this morning, like 7:30 a.m., I received an email through Schoology from my biology teacher from 2 years ago, Mrs. Sam. And she was just reaching out and said, "Hi, Emmy, I've been thinking of you. How are you doing?" And it just really touched me. And I was like, wow, after 2 years, like she's remembering me and she's thinking about me. And I have that relationship with a lot of my teachers. A lot of us stay in touch, and some of them you can go back and take classes with the next year and the year after, depending on what they teach, which I think is really great as well. Um, Aside from the teachers, I think the students, if you're in diploma program, you have student connections, which is just everybody in your specific grade who can, talk on the platform or have meetings together, and I think that's really helped me get to know my classmates.
Yeah. Now, somebody that has never been a part of the organization or seen how things can really operate is still going to have the question, can you really build community in an online world? How would you answer them?
I would say yes, and I am the perfect example of this because my best friend Ruth Ann Cornett, I met her in third grade, and we actually fly back and forth to see each other at
Where
each
does
other's
she live?
houses. She lives in Virginia.
Okay, so you go visit her, she comes and visits you, and you met online. Uh,
Yes,
do you think that's a common experience for Veritas students?
I do actually think it's becoming increasingly common, especially as students get older. People, they want to meet up and they want to see each other, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Have you been able to be part of the end of year gathering?
I have the past 2 years.
How much would you say that contributes to the building of community to have some time that we might call in-person FaceTime that allows us to get to know somebody in a way that is different than just on a screen?
I think it's a great opportunity. I know whenever I met people in person the first time, it was like one of the happiest days of my life. I was just like, wow, like you're really standing here. And um I got to interact with a lot of people, and I think having events like the dance at UIG or watching graduation, um, those things really make you feel like you are part of something bigger, and you really are in community with all of these people.
Yeah. One of the things, as we started offering online classes, and I think we're in our 19th year of doing that now, but one of the things that I didn't anticipate, I knew that technology would continue to improve and we'd see ways that online classes would get better and better. And that's been the case. But the thing that I didn't see coming was how significant it was to have students from all over the country, in fact, all over the world, be in one classroom having discussions about various things. How has it, how have you seen that affect your education to be able to learn from kids or hear from kids in different cultures or even different countries?
I think hearing from people in different life situations and in different circumstances has really made me a lot more open-minded in general. I think when you like live in the same place and you do the same thing every day, you can kind of see things in a black or white. But when you talk to people from Greece or from Africa, I've had teachers in different countries too. It's really eye-opening, I guess, different ways that people view the world and different things that go on that we never know about. And I think it really helps get a well-rounded perspective and a broad perspective. Because you don't just focus at Veritas on what happens in America, but you focus on what happens all over the world, and how that affects our relationship with one another and how that affects our relationship with Christ.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good. Let's get back to the subject here as we bring things to a close. So if you hit your goal or exceed your goal like you did last year, uh, what outcomes do you think? What will be realized? It's somewhat obvious in some sense, but as you do this, what makes you really motivated to be successful?
I think what makes me motivated is seeing the effect that it's had on the lives of everybody who has come to Veritas. I think people really are changed whenever they meet that one faculty member that really just hits home with them and that they really bond with. I think that's an experience that everybody should have in their life, and I think that there are a lot of people that haven't. And whenever I hear stories about, oh my goodness, my teacher did this for me, oh my goodness, like this thing happened in class, I'm just like, yes, like this is why we're here, this is why we're doing what we're doing. And I really hope that we're able to provide this education to more people and have more people come to community with us.
Yeah, yeah. It is. I hearing your story and many stories like yours. It really is a joy. It helps me get up in the morning to hear how much kids, you love school, love the relationships you're building. And I've often said that teachers are the most important part of education, and being able to select teachers without geographic limitations, as we're able to do at Veritas, gives us the opportunity for developing a world-class community of teachers. And I think we've done that. And it's wonderful to hear you talk about how much of a blessing the teachers have been for you. So how can somebody that wants to contribute to this campaign do so? How do you encourage donations?
Yeah, so we have a link on our website where you can donate. It's just at vsatad.com. And honestly, I tell
So
everybody,
starting at VSATAD.com
yes,
is where you would
yes,
go, and then it's pretty obvious where to go from there.
yes. It's just donate, and then there's donation amounts like $5, $10. You can just click on whatever you feel called to give.
Okay, very good. So giving is through VSATAD.com. It is the money is given to Paideia Scholarship Foundation, which makes it tax deductible. And here we are at year end, when people are thinking maybe most about giving benevolently. And so I want you to maybe tell people what your greatest hope is in this giving. You have a stated goal of 15K in 15 days, but last year you came close to 25,000. What would make you say we blew the doors out?
I think I don't know if it's an exact number, but I think more so the number of people. We don't need each one of us to do $15,000 total, but if every single person just did $5, we would have more than enough.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's having a large participation percentage of people that are connected to the school is a wonderful thing. And it's always a good thing to have broad participation, but there are people that can give significant gifts too. And I hope that your efforts will cause them to do that. So thank you very much. Emlianna.
Emlianna.
Emlianna, I am having such a hard time.
You're
Do other
okay.
people have a hard time with your name?
Yes,
Well, I'm
100%.
glad to know I'm not alone, but thank you so much for what you're doing to help people get the kind of education that they want when they can't afford it. Thank you for your kind words about your experience there. It is so exciting to see what God is doing in preparing the next generation, and you're right there in the middle of it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Folks, thanks for joining us for Veritas Vox, the voice of classical Christian education, with Emlianna and the efforts to raise money for people who can use some help in being able to be part of our community. Until next time, we'll see you soon.